be, let's say, combine one and two option. Let's say in market where the Philips could have the big market, they will go alone, and where there is a small market in the world, maybe they can license their the production and they can still be in that market. So combine one and two and still be in the international market.
Yeah, I'll go along. Okay. So let me just put it away. So selective licensing. Class 2. So I go in a big way, but I'm willing to license it out, and that selection is also becomes a decision. So if they say I'm going to license it to Toshiba, Sharp, and others, but not to Sony, that's something they may be able to decide. Whether or not that's legal or not, that's another issue. Whether you can selectively choose Sony being an outlier and they say, no, I'm not going to give it to you, that might face some litigations and so on. So Sony might come and sue Philips that this is a bad practice in some of our legal practice. But then that's a good point. So we have now five decisions. I see that. Now here with the collaboration, what kind of collaboration are we thinking about here? How will they? What are the different ways to collaborate? Should they form one company with equity stakes of both? Or should they still retain their own identities? Philips has one, Sony has one, they simply technologically collaborate? What kind of things are we talking about? Just technical collaboration? Okay, so one option is 3A. So both of them agreed to one particular technology standard. So Sony gives us a reproduction system, which is they're good at, and Philips gives us the basic design, which they're good at. So they basically come into technological and technology arrangement, and they collaborate only on that. So the licensing is purely on the technology, but Philips will sell at its own brand name as Philips product. Sony will sell it at their own brand name, Sony product. So in the marketing side, they differentiate. But from the technology side, they become one and the same. So that the second option would be completely integrate and one company. So they can give a new name for a newly formed company, and that brand will be saved. And at that point, they may decide, okay, let me sell it at Sony brand. It's a stronger brand, and we may decide. So all of these options can be. Now let me see, ignoring the fact what happened. Most of you know what happened in the CD markets. Which of these options do you like to choose? How many would like to choose this option? Completely hands off, doing nothing, Sharp comes or Toshiba comes or other people come, I'm going to give you the license, and or Sony comes, and I simply sit back and earn my royalty over a period of time. How many of you will go for this? Nobody? There's no completely risk-averse person here?
It's not a question of risk, it's a question of grind. You just simply take my share out of the market and sit back and give my license. So then the logo which they're putting on, sense and simplicity, doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. So my investment is so high, it's not worth going for that low risk option. Either the payback will take a long period of time, or I'm really not getting enough return on the investment that I made by simply getting how much is it, dollar something for each time a CD is sold.
Considering the fact that even if you get the money back, but then the recognition is not there. After all, it would be a Sony. After all, it would be a Toshiba. But my name is not there.
Exactly. So
how many of us do know who is the inventor of this technology? We go for a brand. We the consumers. We are brand lead. We are not that much technical.
Exactly.
So hardly will come to know about you, who has been the real inventor. And in it, the name of the brand dies.
Exactly. So one thing is completely destroying all the brand equity that you could have. Yeah.
So I would go for licensing, but before that, I would like Philips to develop a user acceptability in the market, because if the consumers at large accept their product and the product is launched much before other companies launch their own formats, it will be accepted by users at mass, and then they won't go for other formats and they would be used to CD. So automatically other companies will come to Philips for licensing.
Okay. So this is the 2A part. So you're saying establish standard by going alone, and then license.
So,
Yeah.
so I do not go for licensing, but about the using that brand value, if we could do ingredient branding, like Toshiba is using Philips technology, so
Like
that
all
is
the
being
laptops use
branded.
Intel
That
inside.
Intel inside kind
Intel,
of thing.
yes.
And so you could still brand
not-
the basic ingredient, and so it will say Philips inside kind of argument. You could do that. That's a good part. So what are the upsides here? Is there any positives about this licensing? Just licensing, not this addition. It minimizes risk, but there's so many things we are doing in the process. We have no branding opportunity. It will probably have very long payback. And what is the biggest downside of this?
You cannot predict the demand. So when you will sell your product, the Philips will sell the product. So they will sell it to Sony or something like that. So whether their product will be available in the market, that means whether there is a sufficient demand for the product. If there is no demand, where is the supply side? So Philips is from the supply side.
But that would be under contract.
So no, that is not the point. What I am telling, if the Sony is not able to sell its product in the market, then where is the use of purchasing this thing from
So if
Philips?
consumers doesn't accept
Yes.
this particular standard, so they're losing everything. What would Sony do when Philips just simply licenses?
New technology. They will try to give their own technology.
So they will also license their own product. They're not going to sit around. They also invested a significant amount of money. So now two competing standards remain in the market. Philips is licensing, Sony is licensing, or licensing and making. So Sony may say, why should I pay royalty to Philips? I have a good standard. I'm not going to sit around. So the role of competition always has to be kept in mind, that it's like a game theory situation. I'm not going to sit still on a given situation. Somebody will respond in a given format. So that one of the major downside of this particular thing is Sony may decide also to go ahead and license, or both license and manufacture,
Which can lead to a price war.
which might lead to, and there are two competing standards in the market. What about what happens to the consumers in this case? You have a Sony standard, you have a Philips standard. It goes back to the VHS, Betamax, Word. Everyone will wait until the standard gets developed. Whole market demand gets depressed. Situation that they are sitting on the fence waiting for the standard to get results. Okay, let me move along with any other. What about this? Go along with own standards. It has some similarity of what we are discussing. Anyone in favor of this? Philips is a big company. They have lots of resources, lots of money. They develop this technology. Why should they not go along? Just go and launch and manufacture, or start discussing. Why shouldn't they do
But
it?
if you look into the case, we find consumers were unwilling to accept the product at a high price premium over the newly introduced videotape recorder. So they realize a huge risk. It's not that we say if you go alone with our own standards, we're going to be a copper. No. Maybe the payback period would take even a longer time. So in that case, is it not a huge bottleneck that I'm facing? So already the consumers are not willing. There's only a segment of the population, but as the case sees, they are prepared. If you go to the case, you find consumers' acceptance was so great that by 1982 they accounted for a majority of unit sales of classical music at a 30% price premium, but the entire market segment was of 7.2%.
Right. It's a very small market.
1.6%.
The basic sound quality, only consumers who are listening to jazz and classical, they can only discern the The
So
difference
they
in
were
the
prepared to pay the price.
The market itself is so small,
Yes.
they're going alone.
Yes, but I think that the cost in the research and development is the sunk cost. So unless they really go with their standard, they can never recover it. So that is the only option, unless it's absolutely obvious that they are going to lose the battle. They have no other option but go for this option.
Go for this option
Go along
too.
with those standards.
So high revenue or profits to recover the
Sunk cost.
But clubbing with Sony can also be an option.
Then that's the best option.
That is how.
Why is that the best option? And now you have to go back to that time.
That is how you
Okay.
reduce competition.
Okay. Huh?
That is how you reduce competition.
Yes.
But
Sony is a huge brand.
what are you giving up in this process?
So I would not like to go for the second option because of several reasons. First and foremost being, right now we have a Blu-ray technology kind of concept, where a Blu-ray disc can only be played in a Blu-ray enabled device.
Right.
Now supposing right now we only have VHS. If they come up with a CD concept, again, two major players, Philips and Sony. If the Philips goes on, all guns blazing all by themselves, the problem will remain. Two players, if they do the same, Sony will also follow the same suit. But yet again there will be competition, consumers will again be in a default mode which one to buy, whether they should go for a Sony version or a Philips version. So instead if you can conglomerate between the two giants, I am holding a good major chunk of the market share, you are holding. If they both can collaborate and say let's take the entire market by a swap, the other small companies will follow suit and they will be forced to buy our technology at our prices. So it's a best option to follow the blue ocean strategy, eliminate our competition. Yes, we are having a conglomerate, might we have to settle down for a few things, but that would be the best option.